Want to know the secret to aging gracefully? Here's something fascinating. Research shows that women can literally turn back their biological clock through exercise. We're not talking about expensive creams or treatments, just smart, effective movement that works with your body's natural anti-aging processes. You know that feeling when you get up in the morning and everything feels a bit stiff? Or when simple tasks start feeling harder than they used to? Well, here's the good news, you can change that. By the end of this video, you'll discover 7 scientifically proven exercises that can help you feel years younger. And stick around, because I'll share exactly how to do each one properly. Plus, there's a quiz at the end to make sure you've got everything down. Let's talk about why this matters so much. Did you know that after age 30, women typically lose about 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every decade? But here's the thing. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that regular exercise can slow this down dramatically. We're not just talking about looking younger, we're talking about feeling younger, moving better, and staying independent longer. So, are you ready to discover these 7 game-changing exercises? Each one targets a different aspect of aging, and together they create a complete system for maintaining your strength, balance, and vitality. Let's get started with the first one, which might surprise you because it's not what most people think of when they hear anti-aging exercise. Our first exercise is something I like to call the foundation of youth, and it's strength training. Now, before you think this means turning into a bodybuilder, let me explain why this is absolutely crucial for women as we age. Studies from the National Institutes of Health have shown that strength training doesn't just build muscle. It actually helps maintain bone density, which is especially important for women after menopause. Here's the thing about strength training. It's like telling your body to stay young. When you challenge your muscles, you trigger a cascade of reactions that boost your production of human growth hormone and other compounds that help maintain muscle mass and bone density. It's literally like turning on your body's anti-aging switch. Let me show you exactly how to start, even if you've never lifted weights before. We'll begin with a movement that's absolutely fundamental, the squat. But don't worry, we're going to break this down into simple, manageable steps that anyone can do, regardless of their fitness level. First, let's talk about proper form. The biggest mistake I see is people rushing into squats without understanding the basics. So here's what you need to know. Start by standing in front of a sturdy chair. Your feet should be about shoulder width apart and your toes can point slightly outward, whatever feels natural to you. Think about it like you're about to sit down for dinner. Now, here's where the magic happens. As you begin to lower yourself, focus on pushing your hips back. Imagine there's a wall behind you and you're trying to touch it with your bottom. Keep your chest lifted and don't let your knees cave inward. The key is to control the movement. We're not just dropping down into the chair. You might be wondering, how deep should I go? The answer is simple, only as far as you can while maintaining perfect form. For some of you, that might mean just going down a few inches at first. That's absolutely fine. Remember, this isn't a competition. It's about building strength safely and effectively. Let's talk about breathing because it makes a huge difference. Inhale as you lower down. Think about filling your belly with air. Then, as you press through your heels to stand back up, exhale forcefully. This breathing pattern not only helps you maintain stability, but also engages your core muscles. Here's something fascinating. Research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that women who included squats in their routine twice a week saw improvements in their bone density after just 6 months. But the benefits don't stop there. This movement helps maintain the strength you need for everyday activities, like getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or picking up groceries. Now let's move on to our second anti-aging exercise, and this one's a game changer for maintaining youthful mobility. We're talking about dynamic stretching, but with a twist that specifically targets age-related stiffness. You might be thinking, isn't stretching just stretching? Well, the science tells us something different, especially for women over 40. Recent research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows something fascinating. Women who incorporate dynamic stretching into their routines maintain significantly better joint mobility compared to those who don't. But here's what really caught my attention. It's not just about flexibility. These movements actually help maintain the elasticity of your fascia. That's the connective tissue that keeps everything in your body working smoothly. Let me show you my favorite dynamic stretch sequence that's perfect for preserving mobility. We'll start with what I call the mobility flow. Imagine you're standing tall, feet hip-width apart. Now, think about how a cat moves when it first wakes up. That gentle, flowing stretch that seems to roll through their whole body. That's what we're aiming for. Begin by lifting your arms overhead, but here's the key. Don't just raise them up. Instead, think about creating a flowing movement, like you're moving through warm honey. As your arms rise, let your spine gently arch, allowing your chest to open. This isn't just about stretching, it's about maintaining the natural mobility of your shoulder joints and thoracic spine, areas that tend to get increasingly stiff as we age. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Research published in the International Journal of Sports Physical Therapy found that this type of flowing movement actually helps maintain the production of synovial fluid in your joints. Think of it as your body's natural WD-40. When we age, our bodies typically produce less of this crucial fluid, which is one reason why we often wake up feeling stiff. As you flow through this movement, pay attention to your breathing. Inhale as you reach up, feeling your ribcage expand. This isn't just about oxygen. You're actually helping maintain the elasticity of your intercostal muscles, which often become rigid with age. Then, as you exhale, let your arms float down in a wide arc, like you're drawing half circles in the air. Here's a pro tip that many people miss. When doing this movement, imagine you're moving through resistance, like you're in a pool of water. This gentle tension helps engage more muscle fibers and promotes better body awareness, something that becomes increasingly important as we age. But let's talk about why this matters in your daily life. Think about reaching for something on a high shelf, playing with grandchildren, or even just washing your hair. All these movements require the kind of mobility we're building here, and the best part? Studies show that this type of dynamic movement helps reduce morning stiffness by up to 40% when done regularly. I want you to pay special attention to how your body feels during this movement. Notice any areas of tightness or restriction. That awareness is actually part of the anti-aging benefit. Research from the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies shows that this kind of mindful movement helps maintain the neural pathways that keep our movements smooth and coordinated as we age. Remember, we're not trying to become gymnasts here. The goal is to maintain and improve your natural range of motion. If you feel any sharp pain or severe discomfort, that's your body talking to you. Listen to it. Modify the movement by reducing the range of motion or take it slower. The key is consistency, not intensity. Now, let's talk about something that might not sound exciting at first, but trust me, it's absolutely crucial for staying young and active. Our third exercise focuses on balance, and here's why this is so important. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that our balance system starts declining as early as age 40. But here's the good news. We can actually train our balance system to stay sharp, just like we train our muscles. Let me introduce you to what I call the tree flow exercise. Don't worry if you're thinking, I can barely stand on one leg, because I'm going to show you how to build this skill progressively, starting from wherever you are right now. What makes this exercise special is how it combines balance training with gentle movement, which research shows is more effective than static balance exercises alone. Here's how we start. Stand near a wall or sturdy chair. Having this support nearby is just smart, not a sign of weakness. Place your feet hip-width apart and really feel your connection to the ground. Imagine your feet are like tree roots spreading and gripping the earth. This might seem simple, but there's fascinating science behind it. Studies published in the Journal of Gerontology show that this kind of mindful standing actually improves something called proprioception, your body's awareness of where it is in space. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Slowly shift your weight onto your right foot. Take your time with this. Rushing is the enemy of good balance. As you transfer your weight, pay attention to how your foot muscles engage. Did you know that these small muscles in your feet actually get weaker as we age if we don't use them? They're like tiny balance muscles, and we're waking them up. Once you feel stable, try lifting your left foot just an inch off the ground. Hold it there for a breath or two. If that feels comfortable, you can try lifting it a bit higher, bringing your knee up to about hip height. But here's the key. Keep your standing legs soft, not locked. A study from the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that maintaining a slightly bent knee actually engages more stabilizing muscles, giving you better balance control. Let's talk about your upper body because this is where many people go wrong. Keep your arms relaxed at your sides initially. As you get more comfortable, you can start to bring them out to the sides, like branches of a tree. This isn't just for show. Research shows that arm position significantly affects balance and can help train your core stabilizers more effectively. Now, here's something fascinating about balance training that most people don't know. It's not just about preventing falls, though that's incredibly important. Studies from the Journal of Aging Research show that good balance is directly linked to brain health. When you challenge your balance, you're actually creating new neural pathways and maintaining cognitive function. It's like a 2-for-1 anti-aging exercise. Let's add a dynamic element that makes this exercise even more effective. As you hold your balance, try making tiny circles with your raised knee, as if you're drawing a basketball-sized circle in front of you. Start small. Even a slight movement challenges your balance system. This movement engages your hip stabilizers, which research shows tend to weaken significantly with age, especially in women. Here's a pro tip that changed everything for my clients. Focus on your breath. When we concentrate on balance, we tend to hold our breath, but that actually makes it harder to stay stable. Instead, maintain a steady breathing pattern. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. This rhythmic breathing helps activate your deep core muscles, which are crucial for balance. If you're finding this challenging, remember, that's actually good news. Each time you challenge your balance, you're building new neural connections and strengthening your balance system. Start with 10 to 15 seconds on each leg, and don't get discouraged if you wobble. Those little adjustments your body makes, that's your balance system getting stronger. For those of you who are finding this easy, here's how to progress. Try closing your eyes for a few seconds while maintaining your balance. This might seem scary at first, but research from the Clinical Journal of Sport Medicine shows that training balance with eyes closed can improve your overall balance system by up to 40%. Moving on to our fourth exercise, we're going to focus on something that's absolutely essential for aging gracefully, your core. But forget everything you've heard about endless crunches or intense planks. The anti-aging approach to core training is completely different, and it's based on some fascinating research about how our bodies change as we age. Let me share something interesting. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that core strength isn't just about having flat abs. It's actually your body's command center for everything from maintaining good posture to preventing back pain and even helping with balance. As we age, our core naturally weakens. But here's the exciting part. We can not only stop this decline, but actually reverse it. I'm going to teach you what I call the 360 core activation. This exercise was developed based on research showing that women over 40 need to focus on engaging all layers of their core muscles, not just the superficial ones we typically target. Think of your core like a cylinder. It has front, sides, and back, and we need to strengthen all of these areas to stay young and vital. Let's start in a comfortable position, lying on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They immediately try to lift their head and shoulders. Instead, we're going to begin with breathing. This might sound too simple, but stay with me because this is where the magic happens. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your side ribs. As you inhale through your nose, feel your breath expand your ribcage in all directions, front, sides, and back. This isn't just breathing, you're actually activating your deep core muscles, particularly the transversus abdominis, which research shows is crucial for spinal stability and posture. Now, here's something fascinating that research from the Journal of Physical Therapy Science revealed. This type of breathing exercise actually helps maintain the elasticity of your core muscles and surrounding fascia. Think about it like this. You're not just strengthening your core, you're keeping it young and responsive. Let's add the next layer. As you exhale, gently draw your lower belly in toward your spine as if you're trying to zip up a tight pair of jeans. But here's the key. Keep breathing normally. Studies show that this gentle activation is actually more effective for building functional core strength than aggressive exercises that might strain your back or neck. I want you to notice something important happening here. As you maintain this gentle engagement, you might feel your lower back settling into the floor. This is exactly what we want. You're finding what researchers call your neutral spine position. This position is crucial because it's your body's natural power stance, the position from which all movement should originate. Now let's progress this movement. Maintaining that gentle core engagement, slowly slide one heel along the floor, extending your leg. This might seem easy, but pay attention to what's happening in your core. If you feel your back starting to arch off the floor, you've gone too far. Remember, we're not just moving, we're training your core to stabilize your spine, which is exactly what it needs to do throughout your day. Here's why this matters so much. Research published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health shows that this type of controlled core training can significantly improve posture and reduce back pain in women over 50. But the benefits go way beyond that. A strong, responsive core helps you maintain that youthful spring in your step, improves your balance, and makes every movement more efficient. Let's add another dimension to really target those deep, stabilizing muscles. As you return your leg to the starting position, try the same movement with your other leg. But this time, pay attention to your pelvic position. Is it staying steady or does it rock side to side? This awareness is training your core to do its most important job, maintaining stability while your limbs are moving. Here's a pro tip that made a huge difference for my clients. Think about drawing your hip bones slightly toward each other as you move. This subtle action engages your deep core muscles even more effectively. A study in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies found that this type of focused attention actually improves muscle activation patterns, helping maintain strength and coordination as we age. Now we're moving to our fifth exercise, and this one's particularly special because it literally turns back the clock on your heart's age. We're talking about interval walking, but before you think, oh, just walking, let me share something fascinating. Research from the Mayo Clinic found that this specific type of movement can actually make your cells behave up to 10 years younger on a molecular level. Here's what makes this different from regular walking. We're going to use what scientists call perceived exertion intervals. Don't worry about fancy equipment or heart rate monitors. Your body knows exactly what it needs. This type of exercise has been shown to be particularly effective for women over 40 because it works with your body's natural hormonal changes, not against them. Let me share why this is so powerful. A groundbreaking study in the Journal of Applied Physiology discovered that interval walking specifically helps maintain mitochondrial function. Think of these as your cell's power plants. As we age, these little powerhouses typically become less efficient, but this type of movement actually helps them stay young and energetic. Here's how we're going to do it. Start with a comfortable walking pace, one where you could easily carry on a conversation. This is your baseline. Now, imagine a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is sitting still and 10 is sprinting for your life. Your comfortable walk should be about a 3 or 4 on this scale. For the next 30 seconds, I want you to pick up your pace until you're at about a 7, where you could still talk, but you'd prefer not to. Notice how your arms naturally want to swing more, how your breathing deepens. This isn't just movement. You're literally pumping fresh oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body. Research from the University of Copenhagen shows something remarkable about this type of interval walking. It triggers the release of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Think of BDNF as miracle grow for your brain cells. It helps maintain cognitive function and actually protects against age-related memory decline. Now ease back to your comfortable pace for the next minute. During this recovery phase, something amazing is happening in your body. Your heart is learning to become more efficient, strengthening not just the heart muscle, but all the tiny blood vessels throughout your body. Studies show this type of exercise actually helps maintain the elasticity of your blood vessels, which naturally tends to decline with age. Here's a fascinating detail most people don't know. This pattern of exertion and recovery is particularly effective for women because it works with our hormonal fluctuations. Research published in the Journal of Women's Health found that this type of interval training helps maintain insulin sensitivity and metabolic health, which becomes increasingly important after menopause. Let's talk about form because it makes a huge difference. As you walk, imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. This tall posture isn't just about looking confident. It actually helps maintain bone density in your spine. Roll your shoulders back and down, letting your arms swing naturally. Each arm swing creates a gentle rotation in your spine, which helps maintain flexibility and reduces stiffness. You might be wondering how often to do this. The research shows that 3 20-minute sessions per week can create significant changes in your biological age markers. But here's the beauty of this exercise. You can incorporate it into your daily routine. Walking to check the mail, make it an interval. Taking the dog out, perfect time for some power walking bursts. Let me share something that surprised many of my clients. This type of interval walking has been shown to be more effective at maintaining muscle mass than steady-state cardio. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that the brief intensity bursts help preserve type 2 muscle fibers, the ones we typically lose first as we age. Our sixth exercise focuses on something that most people don't realize is trainable: your fascia flexibility. This might sound technical, but stay with me because understanding this could transform how you move every day. Recent research from the Fascia Research Congress shows that this connective tissue throughout our body actually holds the key to maintaining youthful movement patterns. Let me share something fascinating that changed how I think about flexibility. Scientists at the University of California discovered that our fascia, that's the web-like tissue that wraps around all our muscles and organs, becomes more rigid and dehydrated as we age. But here's the exciting part. They also found that specific types of movement can actually rehydrate and rejuvenate this tissue, making it more supple and elastic, just like it was in our younger years. We're going to do what I call the spiral stretch sequence. This isn't your typical touch your toes stretch. Instead, we're going to move in ways that target the natural spiral patterns in your body's fascia. Think about wringing out a towel. That spiraling motion is exactly what our bodies need to maintain flexibility and prevent that morning stiffness we often associate with aging. Let's start in a standing position, feet about hip width apart. Now imagine you're standing in the center of a clock face. Reach your arms overhead, and as you do, think about creating length through your whole body. This initial reach actually starts releasing tension in your fascia. Research from the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies shows that this type of mindful reaching activates something called the myofascial meridians. Think of them as lines of force throughout your body. Here's where it gets interesting. As you keep your feet planted, slowly start to rotate your upper body to the right, as if you're trying to look at something behind you. But here's the key. This isn't just about turning. Let your arms float down in a spiral pattern like you're drawing large circles in the air. This movement creates what researchers call fascial hydration, literally helping to keep your connective tissue young and pliable. Now here's something crucial that many people miss. Breathing patterns make a huge difference in fascial flexibility. As you move through this spiral pattern, inhale deeply through your nose, feeling your ribs expand in all directions. A study in the International Journal of Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork found that this type of three-dimensional breathing actually helps maintain the elasticity of your thoracic fascia, which tends to become restricted as we age. Let's add another layer to this movement. As you rotate back to center, let your arms float up again, but this time imagine you're moving through honey. This slow, controlled movement does something remarkable. It triggers what scientists call mechanoreceptors in your fascia, essentially waking up the sensory neurons that help maintain your body's flexibility and coordination. You might be wondering why we're focusing so much on these spiral patterns. Well, research from the Journal of Aging Research shows that these rotational movements are among the first to become limited as we age, yet they're crucial for everyday activities like looking over your shoulder while driving or reaching for something in the back seat. By maintaining these movement patterns, we're literally preserving our functional youth. Here's a fascinating detail from recent research. Your fascia has a circadian rhythm just like the rest of your body. Studies show it's actually more receptive to this type of stretching in the morning when your tissues are naturally more hydrated. That's why I recommend doing this sequence first thing after waking up, even before your morning coffee. Let me share something that surprised many of my clients. Flexibility training isn't just about preventing stiffness. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that maintaining fascial flexibility actually helps preserve muscle strength too. Think about it like this. When your fascia is supple and elastic, your muscles can contract and relax more efficiently, making every movement more powerful and precise. Now, for those of you who might be feeling some tightness or restriction, remember this. Your fascia adapts much more slowly than your muscles. While you might feel a muscle stretch immediately, fascial changes happen over weeks and months. That's why consistency is so much more important than intensity. A gentle, regular practice will give you much better results than occasional, intense stretching sessions. For our seventh and final exercise, we're going to explore something that brings together everything we've learned: functional movement integration. This might sound complicated, but it's actually about making all our previous exercises work together in real life. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that this integrated approach can actually make you feel up to a decade younger in terms of how you move and function. Let me share something remarkable that scientists at the University of Copenhagen discovered. They found that when we combine different types of movement, like the strength, balance, and flexibility work we've been discussing, our bodies actually create new neural pathways. Think of it like upgrading your body's operating system to a newer, more efficient version. We're going to learn what I call the flow and lift sequence. This movement pattern mimics activities you do every day, but with a focus that transforms them into powerful anti-aging exercise. Imagine you're putting away groceries or playing with grandchildren. These everyday movements become opportunities to maintain your youth when done mindfully. Let's start with something you do countless times a day, picking something up and putting it on a shelf. Stand with your feet about hip-width apart and imagine there's an object on the floor that you need to place on a shelf at about shoulder height. Now here's where the magic happens. Remember that core activation we learned? Engage it gently as you begin to lower yourself. As you bend down, you're using that squat pattern we practiced in our first exercise, but now we're adding a rotational component. Think about reaching across your body to pick up that imaginary object. Research from the Journal of Biomechanics shows that this cross-body movement helps maintain the natural flexibility of your spine while engaging over 20 different muscle groups. Here's something fascinating about this movement that most people don't realize. When you reach across your body like this, you're actually training what scientists call your fascial slings. These are diagonal lines of connective tissue that run from your shoulder to the opposite hip. A study in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies found that maintaining the elasticity of these slings is crucial for preventing that aged, restricted movement pattern we often see in older adults. Now, as you lift the imaginary object, think about that breathing pattern we practiced earlier. Exhale as you rise, feeling how your core naturally engages to protect your spine. This isn't just exercise. You're literally reprogramming your body's movement patterns to stay young and resilient. Research shows that this type of mindful movement practice actually helps maintain bone density while protecting your joints. Let me share something that surprised many of my clients. This type of functional movement training has been shown to improve cognitive function too. A study in the Journal of Gerontology found that when we combine complex movement patterns with spatial awareness, like knowing where to place an object, we're actually giving our brains a workout as well as our bodies. Here's where we bring in that interval training concept we learned earlier. Try doing this movement at different speeds, some slower, controlled repetitions followed by a few at a more natural flowing pace. Research shows this variability in movement speed helps maintain fast twitch muscle fibers, which are crucial for maintaining quick reflexes and preventing falls. Now, let's add another layer of complexity that makes this even more effective. As you rise with your imaginary object, step and rotate toward where you're going to place it. This walking rotation combines our balance work with the spiral patterns we practiced in our flexibility training. Studies show this type of integrated movement helps maintain what scientists call motor sequencing, your body's ability to smoothly coordinate complex movements. Here's something crucial about aging that many people don't realize. It's not just about maintaining individual aspects of fitness like strength or flexibility. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that our ability to combine different types of movement smoothly and efficiently is actually one of the best predictors of how well we'll age. Let me share a practical tip that made a huge difference for my clients. Try practicing this movement pattern with actual objects of different weights and sizes. Maybe start with something light like a pillow, then progress to a book, then perhaps a small bag of groceries. This variety helps your body learn to adapt and respond to different challenges, just like you need to in real life. And now, before we wrap up, let's check your understanding with a quick quiz about everything we've covered today. Don't worry, this isn't about memorizing facts. It's about making sure you have the knowledge you need to transform these exercises into real, lasting changes in how you move and feel. What's the primary benefit of combining different types of movement in our functional training? How does proper breathing enhance the effectiveness of these anti-aging exercises? What role does the fascia play in maintaining youthful movement patterns? Share your answers in the comments below. I love hearing your insights and experiences. And if you found this information helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more science-based anti-aging exercise tips. In our next video, we'll dive deep into nutrition strategies that complement these movement patterns for even better results. Remember, aging is natural, but how we age is largely up to us. With these 7 exercises, you have the tools to maintain your strength, flexibility, and independence. The key is to start where you are, progress at your own pace, and stay consistent. Here's to moving better, feeling younger, and living life to the fullest at any age.